but I think you have the accurate picture.
Thank you. Senator Colvin.
Welcome. Sorry I was not here to hear your oral testimony. How does the CFTC define excessive speculation?
Congress actually had a finding in the 1930s, and we first put position limits in 1938 based on that finding. Though some of the language has changed over the years, is really that we were to use position limits to help curb or prevent some of the burdens that may come from excessive speculation. And so what we did then and have over the decades is really look to ensure two things. In the spot month, when somebody's actually delivering the natural gas down in a certain spot in Louisiana or delivering the oil in Cushing, which you know well, that there's not a corner or squeeze or manipulation in that delivery period. And then secondly, that over all of the contracts, which we call all months combined, but over all of the contracts, that there's not a concentration or an outsized position. It used to be labeled in numbers of bushels of grain. The first position limits were that way. And then subsequently, by the 1970s and 80s, we turned to a percentage of the market. This most recent rule really used a formula that we put in place through notice and public hearings in the late 80s and early 90s, so it's about 20 years ago, and it's roughly 2.5% of the market to help of speculators. The speculators couldn't each have more than 2.5%.
So is excessive speculation happening now? Since we didn't really get to a definition, so whatever it is it happening now?
The markets are made up of hedgers and speculators coming together, and one of the increasing features of the market is more and more financial parties. In the oil or natural gas markets, about 13 to 18% of the market are producers and merchants, and the other 80+% are hedge funds and swap dealers and other financial actors. What we do is we use our authorities to police against fraud and manipulation and ensure transparency, that people see that price function, and then also to have positions to help ensure, to prevent against manipulation, corners and squeezes, as I mentioned, and help ensure the integrity of the market with regard to the all months combined, that no one party, no one speculator has an outsized position.
So I'll go back to my question. Is excessive speculation happening now?
Well, we know that the speculative group in the market can be anywhere from 50 or 60% in the grain markets to 80 to 88% or so in the energy markets. Congress made the finding not only in the 1930s, but also in the Dodd-Frank Act, once again came back to it, added more words that the chairman and I just were he was good enough to remind me the additional words, and asked us, really mandated for us to put in place these regimes to help, as a preventative matter, moving forward.
So is it you don't know whether excessive speculation is happening now, or you do know and don't want to define it, or you're just responding to Congress and to the assumption that there is?
Well, I think that we've been responding to Congress for 70-plus years on this, and it's been reaffirmed by Congress just last year, that to ensure for the integrity of markets that we have a per se limit, that it's a specific limit that we set in place. So we use these well-worn formulas that have worked. I mean, we had limits in the energy and metals markets before.
I'm not debating that. I'm just saying is the assumption by the CFTC is there's excess speculation now, so therefore you wrote new position limits.
No, I think what we took was Congress's clear mandate to do this, and with the regime that we've used in the past.
The language says as necessary. So how do you decide whether it's necessary unless you assume there's excess speculation?
Well, this is we took this up and had a great many comments, some on both sides of this very issue that you just raised, Senator. It's the Commission's belief in finalizing this rule that Congress mandated that we move forward, and that there is not a necessary to find that there had been a burden, that these are also preventative. These are forward-looking to ensure that there's not manipulative.
So the new
schemes, corners,
regulation
and
isn't
squeezes.
based on the fact that there's assumption that there was excessive speculation. It's to prevent any future excessive speculation. Is that what you're telling me?
That's what the statute actually says, and that the Commission's finding on this is that. But in addition, we had over 50 studies referenced in the file, and about half of them are on one side, and about half of them are on the other. I don't want to say percentage, but they're mixed. The studies, the economic studies.
So for clarity for the American people, either there is or there is not excessive speculation. And we have put forward regulations to prevent prevent the potential for that in the future.
To prevent the burdens that may come from excessive speculation.
Well, but position limits are designed to stop excessive speculation, correct?
I believe that the statute has in 4A1 the words to curb or prevent the burdens that may come to interstate commerce from excessive speculation. And then in 4A2, as the chairman pointed out, then there was added 4 factors. And so it was also about manipulation. It was about promoting liquidity in the markets and promoting the price discovery.
So you could have written a rule that would have allowed for excessive speculation but wouldn't have had a burden.
I'm not sure I'm following that.
Well, you just said you said the statute is to prevent the burden in terms of the price to the markets and to the country. So you could have had a rule that allowed for excessive speculation as long as the excessive speculation didn't affect the price.